This video is a part of a playlist for Thrifted Thursday, hosted by JOANNA'S DIY Life and SABRINA'S CRAFT-NANIGANS. And also co-host is your one and only Buffy Designs. So check out the playlist down below and check out both of their channels and subscribe to both of them as well as mine, and we'll get to my DIYs. I picked up this huge shelf for $10, and it is in really bad shape, but the overall look of it I loved. So I have a lot of holes to repair, and as you could see there were several and a bunch of different cracks, so we're going to fill those in. So I'm using this wood filler, and of course my little Presley is going to help me with this project. And I'm just filling in the big gaps with this and trying to get it as smooth as I can by hand. It makes it easier when you go to sand it down so you don't have to sand as much. But these gaps and holes were taking quite a bit of this, so I just went through and filled all the holes and a few of the cracks, and then we're going to sand. So here I'm just sanding that part down where I did on the front part, and then I've also I'm going to sand on all of the holes and cracks that I had covered up as well. So I thought I would try a technique I haven't tried before, and so I'm going to give the whole shelf one good coat of this black chalk paint. And I am so sorry I can't show you the full shelf. I am limited in space, so I couldn't show you the full shelf while I'm doing it. But I'm going to show you each part of that center piece, the front and the top, so you can get an idea, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So here I'm taking a tapered wax candle in white, and I'm just going to use the bottom portion and just scrape all of the wax onto this black all over the shelf. Then you'll want to make sure to wipe it down so that it doesn't have any excess wax. So here I'm doing the front portion of the shelf where that was the top portion, and I'm just doing the same exact thing with that wax everywhere. And you want to get a good layer of the wax on it for this technique to work. So now I'm just painting everything with Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And here I'm doing that same white paint on the front part of the shelf. So now here's the second coat. As you can see, there's still some of that black and wax color coming through. So we want to give it that second coat to cover all of those areas. So now we are scraping with a scraper, and you want to get a really flat one. This one didn't seem to be that great of one, but it still did the job. And I just want to take off that top layer here and there. And we want to just get that top white layer off to expose some of that black so it looks chippy paint everywhere. For this part where it has the little grooves in it, I'm just trying to chip off all the way, on top, barely everywhere, so that it exposes just the tops of it, but not every single little raised area, just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. So now I'm doing the top of the front, if that makes sense, and just getting the edges here and there to kind of expose some of it here and there. The bottom part, it's not turning out quite how I expected, and it's a little bit too much randomness going on, so I end up touching that up, and you'll see in a little bit. It's hard to tell on camera, but there were some scratches from the scraper that didn't show the black, but they were showing us like real light scratches, and it just wasn't looking how I wanted. So I just went back with some more of the white chalk paint and kind of touched up here and there of where I wanted the, just to leave the ones that I want exposed, but yet touching up those areas that had that light scratching to it, and that really made a difference and helped it out a lot. That's the beauty of chalk paint. You can just cover it back up if you have a mistake or it's not turning out quite how you like. So this made it look a lot better. So now I'm using this polyacrylic top coat, it's clear, and just giving that chalk paint a protective coat so that it doesn't chip anymore. So I'm just giving this one good coat and it turns out really pretty. Don't mind me and my slippers. But look at it, it looks so pretty. I love how it turned out with all the little chippy parts in it. And it's just looks that farmhouse, kind of a little rustic, but let me know what you think. I can't wait for hubby to help me hang it so that you can see what it looks like on my wall. I'll have that reveal at the end of the video. My next thrift flip is this antique frame that I picked up for only $10. It is in rough shape. I was afraid it was going to fall apart because it has 4 cracks on each corner. And I'm just going to try to repair it by using some of this spackling. Now I turned it over to see how it looked on the other side, and you'll see it is cracked almost all the way to the back. So I knew that just using the spackle isn't going to be enough support for the corner. So I cut up a big paint stick, and I'm just using some wood glue to glue on each corner. And just to give it extra support, I used my staple gun and stapled one staple in each one over the crack so it would hold a little better. Now I'm not a professional and I'm doing this for my own home, and I don't care what the back looks like because it's just going to lean up on the shelf. And so I did what I had available to use, and that's why I did it this way. I noticed the top piece was cracked as well, and I started just to fill in the gaps with the plaster, but then I thought, well, I better put some glue in there so it holds it together before I finish this. So I ended up going back through and trying to get that glue inside of the cracked part as much as I could, because it's broken completely off the top, and the only thing holding it are the little ornate pieces on the front. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to go anywhere. So now that front piece where it's cracked, I can only get to the front part there in the center, if that makes sense. And I'm just filling in that so you won't see that crack when I paint it. So now I'm just sanding everywhere that I put that spackle onto a smooth surface for painting. So I'm using this black chalk paint to paint this frame. I think it's going to look super pretty when I'm done with it. And the paint goes on really well, and I end up just giving this one coat all the way around. So I thought it would be pretty to highlight that ornate part of the frame with this gold rub and buff that I have. And instead of just rubbing it on and making it look kind of messy, I'm going to paint it on with a thin brush to highlight all of the raised areas and the lines that are grooved inside that you can't really tell from the video here, but I'm going to try to enhance those and you'll see what they end up looking like. And here I'm just touching up where the gold went over into the area I didn't want, which is nice that you can do. Now I'm going to use this clear finishing wax from Jolie, and I love this matte color that the paint has given, so I don't want something with a shine to it, and this clear is just perfect. It has a tiny bit of a shine, but when you rub it back off, it gives it the protection it needs without being so shiny. See how smooth and nice it looks? It just goes on so lovely. I just love it. And this turns out really pretty with this wax. And I'm just trying to get all the way around, and I'll show you what that top part looks like in just a moment. Now, because of this gold, I had to be careful not to smear it, and it did end up wiping off. So I did all of the wax on it, and then I went back through and touched up that gold. After fixing the gold, it just turned out so pretty. I am so proud of this piece. I love how it turned out. I love how they turned out, and I love this shelf. It's just turned out how I imagined, and I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know down below what you think of them. Also, don't forget to check out that playlist. The link is down below in my description box, and check out each one of their channels and subscribe if you could. And also, if you're new here, I hope that you would subscribe to me as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.